Hey everybody, it's Benzo here. Since it's a 510 day in some parts of the world, I want to show you guys my 71 510 wagon. I've had this car now for almost 20 years. It's really enjoy this car. This car started off as my buddy's. He wanted a 510 really bad, and I was helping him look for one, and then he actually found a guy in Santa Cruz that had it. We made a couple of trips, and then I saw this one in the lot, and I convinced him to make an offer, and the seller was really, really cool. His name was Junkyard Jim, and he made out the price for my friend. My friend, picked it up, and at that time, I was working on cars still, kind of, and I helped him do a lot of restoration and upgrades on it. For example, like I did the front suspension. It's a 280ZX strut housings and brakes, running Tokiko shocks with ground control coilovers up front. Pretty much change all the bushings up front. Adco 1-inch sway bar. What else am I running on here? Bump stir spacers. Oh, jeez. What else is there? I got all the Delrin bushings. Running Access Metal Master brake pads. Goodrich stainless braided lines in the front. And in the rear, at first I started off running Tokiko shocks and 2-inch lowering blocks that I modified and got some different U-bolts to make it work. And I actually had found factory Nissan leaf spring bushings, and it really helped. The car, felt a lot better. It did handle better, and I actually found an Adco sway bar from somebody for a pretty decent price. But luckily, recently, I ended up getting the Technotoy tuning rear leaf spring conversion, and I added the 1-inch lowering blocks, and it worked out really good. The handling is definitely better. You can totally see the difference between the springs if you try to compress them. The Technotoy ones are definitely a lot stiffer. In terms of the interior, the dash is pretty much stock. I remember getting the Momo steering wheel for my buddy with the hub, and then I found a Recaro seat for the driver's side from my old landlord, who was a car collector, and coincidentally he posted a Craigslist ad, and he sold it to me for like really cheap. I think I got that Recaro seat for like $50, and it had a BMW mount, and I ended up modifying it, tack welded it, brought it over to a professional welder, and re-welded it, and it all mounts up real well. Slides real smooth, not too bad. And we got a new carpet kit. I did it front and back. This is the whole kit. Recently, this passenger seat, probably within the last year or so, I had it, the bottom part reupholstered by Wally's here in the city. They've been doing interiors for a long time. And it did my dad's or my truck now. Back when my dad owned it. So I went to them and they took care of it and did a good job. It matched up the rear section pretty good. But yeah, you could see the interior. I'm running just stock everything. I do have the tack. That was thanks to John, or some of you guys might know on Instagram as Roll55 Ifumi. He hooked it up. One of his buddies didn't want it and offered it to me for literally for free. And I was thankful for that, and it popped it in and it worked. You can see my kid's car seat here. But yeah, interior is pretty clean. I've always kept it really clean. Make sure door cards worked. Changed out all the seals, the window squeegees. Feels really solid. Cleaned out. I even took out the door panels and cleaned the insides, and they feel pretty good. Make sure all the locks work. Things I'd like to do is chrome the bumpers. That's a eyesore, but it's okay. It doesn't bother me too much because it's not like the car's a show car. It paints. It's okay. It's I'm trying to preserve what I got left, but everything else is really good. And the wheels. At one time, originally, I had Panasports on here, sold those, and ended up finding these SSR MK2 from somebody that had a Corolla. And then I ended up getting these with some new Falcon Zenny tires. The rear's just running a stock rear end. I am running 240Z drums that I drilled holes in them to make the venting a little bit better. And yeah, but everything else is stock. I could take a look at the engine compartment. And this is a Rebello 2.3, or he calls it the 6-inch rod motor, or some might call it long rod motor. This was one of those things where at first my friend wanted, he wanted K motor cars, but I think he was having a hard time because a lot of them were real high mileage and weren't in great condition, and ended up Rebello gave him a really good deal at that time. You're talking about this like almost over 20 years ago. Rebello was Dave was really cool. He built the motor, and at first had a 3236. It's got Datsun Nissan comp header, and he had a little mishap with the person that did the install of the engine, and it ended up messing up the motor. And Dave and his son were really cool, and ended up fixing the motor. And at that time, this is when my friend, he opted for the upgrade to go to dual side draft. So these are actually, Dave was calling them SKs, but I think these are just modified Mikunis. I think these are taperboard from Kyusha House Taka that saw these, and he worked on them for a little bit with me, and because we were trying to isolate a issue that I was having, and ended up had a vacuum leak in an intake manifold gasket. But right now everything's running pretty good. But yeah, so this motor's been good. It's supposed to be almost like 9.9 to 1 compression, almost 10. I got to run 91 octane, and it's pretty much looks almost stock. I mean, it's stock valve cover, drops in. Running just a basic, nothing too fancy with it. And I'm running a 280ZX transmission with it's modified drive shaft. I'm running Pertronics ignition, and yeah, it's really simple. I dynoed it one time at Z-Car Garage about almost 20 years ago, when there was Z-Car dyno bashes, and I think at that time this thing was making about 150 at the wheels. And yeah, it drives good. It's got some good torque. It's definitely fun for the street. That's what it was designed for. When Dave built it for my friend, it was to be able to drive on the street and actually drive on a freeway like real steady, and it does do that. And yeah, you see steering box brace. That actually is something I had made. I actually copied it off of someone, and I had a local place copy them from me or make them. So I made a run at one time. A few people in the city or Bay Area have them off of me, and after that I never really built anymore because the person I was dealing with, they kind of like retired, or they're not really doing stuff no more. So I just never pursued it after that. But yeah, I still kept one for myself, and I'm using it, and it works great. And yeah, this car is definitely enjoy it. It's fun. So happy 510 day to everybody. Hope to see a lot of more cool rides.